Okay, so you want to go from good to great, and you've brought Good to Great by Jim Collins along for the ride.
Hmm.
That tells me you're ready to ditch the shortcuts and really dig into what makes companies thrive.
Absolutely. And what's so fascinating about this book is how it really dives into those unconventional factors right from the get-go.
Yeah.
I mean, right in the introduction, Colin starts dismantling these common myths we have about success,
Yeah.
like the idea that you need a celebrity CEO to really hit those high notes.
It's funny, isn't it? We almost always associate a company's success with this big personality at the helm.
Right.
But Collins actually found something pretty different, right?
Yeah, his research actually revealed that companies led by these really flashy, charismatic CEOs were actually less likely to make that leap from good to great.
Hmm.
It was almost as if their star power overshadowed the company's core values.
Wow.
The real movers and shakers, the ones who led their companies to that kind of enduring greatness, they were often the ones you would least expect.
The quiet achievers.
Exact.
So forget the rock star CEOs. Yeah. Collins points to this concept of level 5 leadership.
Mm,
Can you unpack that a bit for us?
okay.
What does that even mean?
Well, think of level 5 leaders as this unique breed.
Yeah.
They've got this interesting blend of personal humility
Okay.
alongside this unwavering professional will.
Hmm.
So they're not driven by ego. They
Yeah.
don't need that constant recognition.
Right.
But what really fuels them is this deep commitment to building something truly exceptional.
And is there a leader that exemplifies this that you found particularly interesting in the book?
Oh, there are quite a few, actually, but one that really stands out is Coleman Mockler.
Okay.
He was the CEO of Gillette back in the 1980s.
Oh, yeah.
And he faced immense pressure during his tenure.
I can imagine, especially with the whole hostile takeover attempts back then.
Oh, absolutely.
Doing that during that whole junk bond craze or something?
It was a wild time on Wall Street, and Gillette was a prime target. And, a lot of CEOs in Mockler's position would have just caved, especially with the promise of a massive payout.
Oh, yeah.
But Mockler, he was cut from a different cloth.
So instead of taking the money and running, what did he do?
He dug in his heels.
Really?
He fought tooth and nail to protect Gillette, even if it meant putting his own personal fortune at risk.
Wow.
And this wasn't about self-interest.
Right.
He genuinely believed in Gillette's potential for greatness.
And this was during a time when they were facing some pretty serious competition, weren't they?
Oh, absolutely. The market was becoming incredibly competitive, and Gillette was facing all sorts of challenges.
And he still managed to steer them toward innovation.
That's the thing about level 5 leaders. They have this uncanny ability to see beyond the immediate crisis.
Mm.
Under his leadership, Gillette developed groundbreaking products like the Sensor and the Mach 3,
Right.
which totally revolutionized the shaving industry.
Yeah.
Mockler's unwavering resolve, his commitment to a future beyond his own time at the company that's level 5 leadership in action.
It makes you think about the motivations behind leadership, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not always about what we see on the surface.
Right.
It's about looking beyond charisma and really evaluating what drives someone to lead.
And I think that's a really important takeaway from this.
Yeah.
We need to start looking beyond the surface for those quiet achievers,
Mm.
the ones who prioritize the long-term health of their organization over personal gain.
Because those are the qualities that drive true greatness.
Absolutely.
So no celebrity CEOs, and we've got this new model of level 5 leadership to consider.
Mm-hmm.
What other common misconceptions about success does Collins debunk?
Well, another big one is this idea that big tech investments are the golden ticket.
Oh, yeah?
That just by throwing money at the latest technology, it'll magically transform a good company into a great one.
It's easy to think that technology holds all the answers.
Right, especially in today's world.
But you're saying it's not that simple.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Technology is an incredibly powerful tool, but it's just that it's a tool. It's an accelerator, not a magic bullet.
So what is it then that separates those companies that are using technology effectively from those that get left behind?
Well, it all comes down to this.
Yeah.
A deep understanding of who you are at your core.
Mm.
Collins argues that technology should serve your company's strategy,
Okay.
not the other way around.
So before you even think about investing in the latest and greatest tech,
Yeah.
you need to have a really strong foundation in place.
Exactly.
You need to know who you are as a company, what you excel at, and where you're headed.
Precisely. And we'll delve deeper into that a bit later when we talk about the hedgehog concept.
Okay.
But the big takeaway here is this technology should amplify your strengths, help you achieve your goals.
Not distract you with the next shiny object.
Exactly.
It's about having that clear vision and then using technology as your tool to get you there.
I love that analogy.
This is already making me rethink a few things.
Yeah.
Okay, so no magic bullets, no overnight transformations.
Yep.
It sounds like building a great company is more about making those really careful, deliberate choices over time.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
And speaking of choices, one of the most crucial ones, according to Collins, is this
Yeah.
getting the right people on the bus.
Now, that's an interesting way to put it.
Yeah.
What exactly does he mean by that?
So it's like this. He says assembling the right team is actually more important than even having a perfect strategy in place.
More important than strategy.
You'd think the plan comes first, right? But he really emphasizes this idea that it's not just about finding those brilliant minds.
Right.
It's about finding people who really vibe with your company's core values.
Gotcha.
People who are all about that long-term vision.
So it's not enough to just hire a team full of superstars.
Yeah.
They all need to be on the same page, working toward that shared definition of success.
Exactly. It's about cultivating a culture where everyone feels like they're truly invested in the company's success,
I like that.
where they feel a sense of ownership over what they're building together.
And in a practical sense, how do you actually go about building that kind of culture?
Well, it starts with really nailing down those hiring practices.
Okay.
It's not just about filling an empty desk.
Yeah.
It's about finding those individuals who are the perfect puzzle piece for the role, for the team, for the company as a whole.
So taking the time to find those hidden gems,
Exactly.
those folks who might not have the flashiest resume,
Right.
but they've got that fire in their belly, they've got the right values,
And then the drive.
and they're aligned with your vision.
100%. You got it.
So you've got the right people on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
What's next? How do you create an environment where they can truly thrive?
It's all about fostering a culture of trust,
Okay.
where there's that open communication, where everyone feels respected and valued for their unique contributions.
And this is where I imagine that culture of discipline that Collins talks about comes into play, right?
Absolutely. This is a really important piece of the puzzle. Collins argues that a culture of discipline is essential for any company that wants to achieve those great heights.
But there's a difference between discipline and being overly rigid.
Yeah. Huge difference. It's not about micromanaging or creating this stifling environment.
Okay, good, because nobody wants to work in a place like that.
Right, exactly.
So what does it actually look like then?
Think of it this way.
Okay.
It's about setting those crystal clear expectations up front,
Gotcha.
holding people accountable for their actions,
Yeah.
but also having a system in place that rewards those desired behaviors.
So it's like striking that balance between giving people the freedom to do their best work,
Yes.
but within a defined framework.
And it's about empowering people to make decisions, to take calculated risks, even to stumble and make mistakes every now and then.
Because mistakes are going to happen.
Especially in such a fast-paced world,
Exact.
things change so quickly that it's how you recover from those mistakes that really matters.
So it's not about the mistake itself, but how you learn and adapt.
100%.
In a culture of discipline, mistakes are seen as those valuable learning opportunities,
Precisely.
not as something to be feared or punished.
Exactly. It's all about fostering that growth mindset,
So you create that space for experimentation, for innovation.
where people feel safe to push the boundaries without that fear of failure holding them back.
I like that a lot.
And, Collins gives a really interesting example in the book with Nucor.
Oh, yeah, the steel company.
They consistently outperformed their competition, and it all came down to their culture.
What was it about Nucor's approach that really made them stand out?
Well, they embraced this culture of discipline, and they really wove it into the fabric of their operations.
Oh.
They had these really high standards,
Mhm.
but at the same time, they empowered their employees at every level to make decisions and take ownership.
So is that balance you were talking about?
Exactly. Accountability and autonomy working hand in hand.
And that created a more engaged workforce.
Without a doubt.
They felt valued, so they were more invested in the company's success.
Precisely, it's that simple human element that often gets overlooked.
It makes so much sense, though.
And that's what set Nucor apart from those competitors who were stuck in that old way of doing things.
Right, the top-down hierarchical structures.
Exactly.
While other companies were bogged down in bureaucracy, Nucor was empowering its people to innovate to get things done.
And it paid off big time for them.
It really goes to show you that having the right people and fostering that supportive culture.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just some feel-good HR initiative.
Right.
It can actually be a company's biggest competitive advantage.
100%.
Okay, so we've talked about the importance of having the right people on board fostering that culture of discipline.
Yes.
But there's another crucial aspect that Collins highlights, and that's this idea of confronting reality.
This one's huge, and it's where he introduces this really intriguing concept called the Stockdale paradox,
Okay, I've heard of that.
named after Admiral Jim Stockdale.
Right, a Vietnam POW.
Exactly. He endured years of captivity, and his story is incredibly powerful.
Could you explain the paradox in the context of business for those who might not be familiar?
Of course. So it boils down to this. You need to have this unwavering faith in your ability to succeed in the end,
Okay.
while also being brutally honest with yourself about the facts of your current situation.
So it's about balancing that optimism with the clear-eyed view of the challenges you're up against.
Absolutely. It's about acknowledging when things aren't working,
Even when it's tough to face.
even when it's painful, because ignoring a problem doesn't make it go away.
Sometimes it makes it worse, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the key is to create a culture where honesty and transparency are valued.
Where people feel safe to speak up about problems without fear of retribution.
Precisely, and it's up to the leaders to set that tone.
So you need leaders who are willing to listen, to admit when they've made a mistake.
And to create a culture of continuous improvement.
It's not about playing the blame game.
Nope.
It's about working together to find solutions.
Exactly. Because setbacks are going to happen. They're just part of the journey.
Right. But they don't have to define you.
They don't. It's all about how you bounce back, how you learn and adapt, and how you come back stronger.
So we've got the right people. We're facing reality head on.
Hmm.
What's the next piece of the puzzle that brings it all together?
This is where it gets really interesting. This is where Collins introduces his hedgehog concept.
Okay, I've been waiting for this one. It's such an intriguing name.
It's such a powerful idea, and it really captures the essence of what it takes to go from good to great.
Break it down for us.
Okay.
Okay, I think I get it. It's about finding that one thing.
Exactly. Collins uses this analogy of a hedgehog.
Okay.
You know, a simple creature, but with this incredibly effective defense mechanism.
Rolling up in a ball of spikes.
Exactly. Simple, but effective.
Right.
And that's what the hedgehog concept is all about.
Okay.
It's about identifying those core strengths of your company
Okay.
and then really honing in on them.
So it's about finding that sweet spot, right?
Got it.
That thing that you can be the absolute best in the world at. Something that truly fuels your economic engine.
Yes.
And something that you're just crazy passionate about.
All of that combined, it's about understanding your competitive edge.
Okay.
Why you do what you do better than anyone else, and then using that knowledge to guide all of your decisions.
That requires a deep understanding of who you are as a company.
It does. It takes a good hard look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Honestly assessing your strengths, your weaknesses, and being brutally honest about what you can and cannot excel at.
And having that discipline to say no.
Yes, that's a big one.
Even when something seems really tempting in the moment.
Especially then, because those shiny object distractions, they can really derail you.
They pull you away from what truly matters.
Exactly, and they'll ultimately prevent you from achieving that true greatness.
So how do you actually go about defining your hedgehog concept?
Well, Collins breaks it down into these 3 key questions.
Okay, I like a good framework.
First, what can you be the absolute best in the world at?
And it's not about what you want to be best at.
Right, it's about what you're truly capable of.
Where your real potential lies.
Precisely.
Okay, what's the second question?
The second one is what drives your economic engine.
So understanding those financial underpinnings.
Yes.
Hmm.
What is it about your business model that consistently generates those profits?
Got it. And the third question.
This one's crucial. What are you deeply passionate about?
Okay, so this is where the heart comes in.
Absolutely. Greatness, it doesn't come from just going through the motions.
Right. You have to believe in what you're doing.
It takes energy,
Passion.
that deep-seated belief in the work that you're doing.
So you've got these 3 circles.
I love visuals.
What you can be the best at.
Mm-hmm.
What drives your economics.
Yes.
And your passion.
And where they all intersect. That's your hedgehog concept.
And from there, it's about weaving that concept into everything you do.
Every single decision, from developing new products to your marketing strategies to the people you hire.
It becomes your guiding principle.
Your North Star.
And that's what allows you to stay focused on your mission.
Even when the world around you feels chaotic.
Especially then, right?
Because, let's face it, the business world, it's constantly changing.
It's like trying to hit a moving target.
Exactly. But the hedgehog concept, it gives you that sense of stability.
Okay.
That clear direction, that framework for navigating those tough decisions.
It's like that anchor that keeps you grounded.
And it prevents you from getting sidetracked by every new trend or fleeting opportunity that pops up.
So it's about staying true to what makes your company unique
100%.
and using that as the foundation for building something truly exceptional.
You got it.
Now, you mentioned some really great examples of companies that have successfully implemented the hedgehog concept.
Oh, yeah. There's some real success stories out there.
What was it about Walgreens that stood out to you?
Well, their hedgehog concept was so simple and yet so powerful.
Okay.
They wanted to be the best, most convenient drugstores
Convenient and profitable.
with high profit per customer visit. And they didn't waver from that vision.
So they were laser focused.
They were relentless. They focused on opening stores in those high traffic locations.
Even if it meant moving half a block.
Exactly. It was all about maximizing that convenience and driving profitability.
And it worked.
It did. They outperformed industry giants.
Companies like Intel, GE, Coca-Cola.
And it all came down to that unwavering commitment to their hedgehog concept.
It really shows you the power of simplicity.
Right. Sometimes it's not about trying to be everything to everyone.
It's about finding your niche and owning it.
That's what it's all about.
This has been incredibly insightful. So many valuable takeaways.
I'm so glad to hear that.
What are you going to make great?
What a great question and the perfect note to end on. I think it's something we should all be asking ourselves.